Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we'll be discussing about the third problem of today's weekly contest, substring XOR queries. The problem states that you are given a binary string S and some queries of the form first I, second I. Now for each query, you need to return the shortest substring of S whose decimal value val yields second I when XORed with first I. Or in other words, you need to find the shortest substring of S whose decimal value is val, and when you do val XOR first I, you will get second I. Notice that first I and second I are given in the queries. So you need to return the shortest substring for each of the queries. Now the answer would be of the form left I, right I, where left I is the left boundary of the substring and right I is the right boundary of the substring. Or you will return -1, -1 if it is not possible to find such a val. Right? So hope the problem statement is clear. Now let's take an example. Let's say this is string S and query is 0,5 and 1,2. Let's say we are solving for 0,5. Now for 0,5, what they're saying is if you take substring 101, the value would be 5, right? And when you XOR 5 with first I, you will get second I. So 5 XOR 0 is 5. So because that is true, it means 5 is a valid candidate. Now notice you need to return the shortest substring. So there is no substring less than length 3 which can yield this value. And if there are collisions, so in this case you can see this is also a valid substring 101. So in case of collisions, you need to return the one which have minimum left I, and this 101 has minimum left I, and hence the answer is 0,2 and not 3,5 or something like that, right? So hope the problem statement is clear. Now how to solve this? So this is very interesting or very common XOR property that you have to find such a val which can yield second when XORed with first, right? So what we can do, we can just simply XOR F on both sides, right? And if we do that, this F and this first will be cancelled, right? Basically X XOR X is equals to 0, right? And 0 XOR X is equals to X. So because of that, we can see this left hand side would become val. This entire thing would evaluate to val, and second side would evaluate to first XOR second. So what the new problem statement is, we need to find out. So this second and first are given in the problem, given the query, right? So query, So query is first I, second I. So first and second are given in the query. Now, in a way, this second XOR first is also given in the query. So for each query, we know this value. We need to just find out what is the smallest substring that has this value. So in other words, this is what we need to find. We need to find smallest substring that has decimal value of val, where val is second XOR first, right? So hope this reduced problem statement is now clear. Now let's see how to solve this. So again, if you are not able to reach this point, I would strongly encourage you to pause the video right away and try to solve this particular problem once more. Now how to solve? Firstly, let's try to answer, we need to find the smallest substring, right? So let's try to answer what is the maximum substring size possible. So notice that first and second, we are taking the XOR of first and second is of the order 10 to the power 9. So what is the substring size that is possible, or that is enough to make 10 to the power 9 XOR? It is substring size of 30, right? So with size 30, you can easily get 10 to the power 9. So in a way, substring will never be of size greater than 30, right? So now how many such substrings are there? Very, very small, right? So if they are if the size of the string S is n, total substring of size 30 would be 30n at max, right? So we can just iterate over all such substring and pre-compute what is the value that they are giving, right? So what we can do, we can just iterate over all substring. For example, we will try this substring, then this, then third size, fourth size, 5 size, 6 size. Now after this, what we will do, we will try this substring, this, and this, So we will try all possible such substring and pre-compute the values of all of them, right? So let's say we try this substring. The value of this substring is 1. So we'll say, okay, we found a substring which has value 1 and which starts at index 0, 0, right? And then we will say, okay, we will try this. Now notice that the order in which you are trying out also matters. So here we have to find the smallest substring, right? So we will try the smallest size substring first. So we are trying out substring with size 1 first, and then we will try out substring with size 2 and then size 3 and so on and so forth. So with size 1 we saw that, okay, 1 we got 1. So we will just create a map and say, okay, we got 1 and the 1 was starting at 0, 0, right? Similarly, we will try other substring, and let's say we try second substring of size 2, right? So if we try substring of size 2, let's say we get this. So we'll say, okay, we found 2 and this starts at 0 and ends at 1. So notice that what we are doing, we are trying to iterate over all substring and then finding out the values of each of these substring and maintaining the indexes where we saw these values, right? So at the end, what you will be getting something like this. So you will be getting, okay, 1 starts at 0, 0, 2 starts at 0, 1, 3, 2, 3, and so on and so forth, right? Now for every query, what we can simply do is just find out XOR of first and second and just look at in the map. If the value exists in the map, you will return that particular pair, otherwise you will return nothing, right? So notice one more thing here is we are iterating from the first to the end, right? So because of this, if let's say we got 2, then the first 2 that we got will be our answer, because answer says that if they, in case of collision, we need to find out the one which have the minimum left, right? So because we are trying from the left, we will simply store the first occurrence of 2 and that will be our answer, right? So in this case, this also has value 2, but because we got 2 before, we have stored 0, 1 here instead of 3, 4, right? So hope this makes sense. So the problem is, the solution is simple. We just find out every substring, the value of every substring, prepare a map, and then for each query, just look up in the map and return the answer, right? So let's try to see the solution. So what we are saying is, we will try out every substring starting from size 1. Okay. Now for every substring, we find out the value of that substring, right? And if that value doesn't exist in our map, we will put that value in our map, right? And after this entire loop is done, what we will do, we will look at all the queries, find out what is the required value that we need to return. We'll see if that value is not exist in the map, we will return -1, -1. Otherwise, we will return whatever is the index or L, R, which is stored in the substring per value map, right? And this decimal function is very simple. We are just calculating the decimal value of the substring L, R in the string S, right? So hope this entire solution makes sense. If you have any doubts in the problem, please post them in the comment section below. I will try to answer. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and do subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you.